Lewis. Yes, this fight is finally happening, guys, and it is this weekend. Supposed to happen a few months ago, but if you guys remember, Blaydes got COVID, so it's definitely that one definitely got canceled, and it is this weekend. I already broke down the fight a few months ago, and it got canceled last minute. But we'll go over it again, of course. Not a bad card overall. I found some spots that I do like. I will be sending out some plays to subscribers and give you guys some free picks as well here. I'll be looking at the main card like usual and going over each fight. Let's start off by recapping UFC 258. Profitable card for myself. That's back-to-back profitable cards. We hit our best bet, which was a different type of best bet. It was a 2-fight parlay best bet with Usman. I loved Usman in the main event. And Ricky Simone. Parlayed both those together, you get around even money. I know both were going to get it done. It just wasn't willing to lay the minus 275, minus 250 on these guys. So, sometimes, I always advise not to play parlays, but larger parlays. If it's parlays like this, especially in UFC fights, I find they do work. Other sports, not as much. Sometimes I'll parlay a couple money lines together. Never a spread. You can't parlay 2 spreads together. It's not smart. But parlaying 2 money lines together, it does hit quite often, especially in the UFC. So I felt really confident on both these guys going to win, and we hit the best bet. Usman was just impressive. That jab that he added to his arsenal, we haven't seen that from him. Burns probably wasn't expecting it. You can see he got knocked down twice from the jabs, face all beat up. And Burns wanted to try to get to this ground. And, you seen him laying on the ground there. Usman wasn't going to give in and jump there because that's where Burns really excels, right? Burns caught him early, though. Burns caught him early with a nice overhand right. And Usman stumbled, but he was able to adapt. And he was able to show the champion spirit that he does have. And he was able to overcome it and knock out Burns in the third. So Usman is now tied 13 wins in a row. 3 away from Silva. And, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets there. Who's going to beat him in this division? I just don't see anyone beating him in this division. Maybe Colby could. He might be able to. Jorge cannot. It's a horrible matchup for him. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I think, is a dark horse. I think his style is very difficult to fight, and obviously Usman hasn't seen anything like that. Usman will going to want to try to wrestle and grapple with him, but I think Thompson's takedown defense is pretty good, one of the best actually. So I think that would be a very interesting fight, and he just hurt Thompson. So once he gets back, we should see him in there. Simone dominated with his wrestling and all-around game, which I did expect. We also hit over in rounds with in the Patolo fight. I really like that. You've seen a late finish in the third round. So good call there. And then we lost on a few smaller unit plays in a parlay, but was profitable. Updated record, guys. Updated record, 45 and 20 best bets, 69% within 14 months. That's plus 8.3 units on all plays. All plays, I remember, I bet smaller unit size, mainly 1 or 0.5 units. Hoping to get back to that 70% range after this weekend. If I do have a best bet, not as yet. I wait until the weigh-ins, of course. And yeah, get over that 40 unit mark. Check out System Sports Capping for all sports records and subscription package options. Yes, I'm one of the few sports handicappers out there that actually keep their records and post their records on their website after each play. And I also send out all my weekly updated records to subscribers, so they are aware and they can see. I email them the plays anyways, but I just like to have it in a weekly updated each week sent to my guys. PGA has been running very hot, guys. We hit another best bet last week, 9-2 in PGA best bets in the last 9 months. That is a run, best bet run, and also over 45 units in the PGA. Obviously, UFC, I just explained. MLB will be back in April, which I was over 62% last year in the MLB. And then NHL and NBA up and down so far. A little profit in the NBA so far, but NHL's been about 500. very low volume in both those sports. It's not my main focus sports, but I do like betting them and I like finding angles. So I will have a few plays each week in those sports. Guys, please like and subscribe. Comment. Feel free to comment as well. It does help me out. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into this card, starting obviously with the main event. Blaydes, minus 380, minus 400 versus Lewis, plus 300. 5-round main event. Finally, this one is happening. Hefty price, though, if you like Blaydes. Definitely some value with Lewis here if you think he can get the surprise knockout. Hard to see a path for Lewis to win this fight, though, right? Unless he does get that random knockout. But, how much did he improve on his takedown defense and his wrestling is going to be the question here. The 5 rounds definitely favors Blaydes, as Lewis has never gone 5 rounds before. 4 rounds, twice in 2017 and 2016. We know his cardio issues. We all know how Lewis can win this fight. Like I said, big KO. However, Blaydes will know this. He's just going to try to grapple with him. He's not going to try to stand and bang for the most part. Blaydes is decent on the feet. He does have some power, but it's not the path to victory to try to stand and bang with him. Blaydes is on a quiet 4-fight win streak with big wins over Volkov, huge one. We see how good Volkov is right now. He beat Dos Santos also in that streak and isn't far from a title shot. If he gets to win here and then another win from a top 5 guy, I think he's right there, guys. Now, we're not going to be laying this minus 400 price, right? Even in a parlay, it's not going to do much for you if you guys bet parlays. But, I do think an outcome play would be the best here. And, Blaydes to finish the fight, but you're still paying like minus 160. So it's tough, guys. It's tough to bet this fight. But Blaydes, I do think, is going to win. Remember, also with Lewis, another note, he has the worst takedown defense in the heavyweight division. I think you guys know that. So he's been taken down in 13 different fights. I just don't see any path for him to win. So yes, that's why he is minus 400 Blaydes. I do think he gets the job done. I'm just going to figure out how to bet Blaydes, at the best price and the best way to bet him by Friday. The co-main is a strange co-main. We have Caitlin Vieira, minus 280, minus 275 versus Knetseva, the Russian, plus 230. Another suspect co-main event, at least, right? The last pay-per-view card, we had the Barber fight as the co-main. Now we have this one as the co-main. I don't get it really, but decent matchup in the women's division. I think this could be a competitive fight, but something I like. It's not something I like to see as a co-main, right? Maybe the beginning of a main card on a fight night, or even in the prelims. Let's talk about the ladies a bit here. Vieira has a very solid 11-1 record, 6 of them in the UFC. She has some big wins over Ashley Evans-Smith, Sarah McCann, Kat Zagano, and Eubanks in her last fight. Her one loss was against Aldana, who was the better striker in there. Obviously the better striker, Aldana, but she knocked her out early with some concern there. Yana, a bit less time in the UFC, 4 fights going 3-2. If we look at her wins, it's nothing special, guys. Landsberg, a 10-5 fighter. I don't think he's even in the UFC anymore. Marin Renault, who was 41 at the time, 43 now. She's still fighting in the UFC, 9-6 record, though. And her last win was against Storenko, who made her UFC debut. So nothing exciting there, guys. This line obviously is tricky. I'm not laying straight up on Vieira minus 280. Forget about that. Yana wins with that fighting style, right? Her fighting style is like against the cage. She wants to try to grind you. And I just don't think she's going to do that against Vieira. Vieira is strong, tough, good all over. I think she's pretty much better all over. So I have a hard time seeing the Russian winning this fight. But it's women's MMA. You never know. But I just don't see Vieira getting knocked out. Baiana. That's the thing. She doesn't have much power. So I don't see it. This fight should go decision. I do think Vieira wins this fight and moves to 12-1. Rosa, Charles Rosa, minus 190 versus Maynard, plus 160. A tough number here. I think it's about right. I would put maybe Rosa more at 160 just because of Minner's, experience. Rosa had a nice win in his last fight over Aguilar. In his last fight, though, after that last fight, tough fight against Bryce. Remember the Bryce Mitchell fight? He got dominated on the ground, which was surprising. We all know how good Bryce is. So, it is a respectable loss. But he came back strong with a nice win. Rosa has fought some big names looking back at his resume. Burgos loss, Manny Bermudez win, and then Yair Rodriguez loss. Big names there. Seems like when he steps up to a bigger name, he does fall short. This is a reason why Rosa should get the win here. We're not going to put Minner in a bigger name, right? He does have a lot of losses on his record and can be beat. The only thing that worries me here, the 22 submission wins from Minner, right? I think Rosa does have good enough ground game. As you see, Mitchell couldn't submit him. So I don't think Minner's going to submit him, right? So that's why, and Minner's going to probably come out in the first, try to knock his head off. I think Rosa will be smart enough to know that and avoid that. So I'm not in love with this price, but I do think Rosa gets it done. And it's tough to call an outcome in this one, guys. I can't really give you an outcome in this one. It could go all three. Rosa could just, win a scrappy or boring type of fight. But it could end early, too, just because Minner's gas tank a little questionable on that. So I don't really have an outcome in here, but I do think Rosa gets it done. Daukaus, heavyweight division, guys. Daukaus minus 180 versus Olynyk. The bull constrictor is back, plus 155. A man with 59 wins and over 70 fights, and you're seeing a plus 155, it is tempting against a guy who's 10-3 with 2 UFC wins and really hasn't beaten anyone. Now, he has looked solid on the feet. Apparently he does have some solid wrestling background and jiu-jitsu. So it's tough to see how this old man here, Olynyk, is going to pull this fight off unless it's somehow by a submission on the ground. But Daukaus, he does have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I don't see that submission coming. I do like Daukaus to pull off this win here. Alexei now, he's 43. He's a little bit chinny. He's been knocked out 6 times in the first round. It's tough to see how he wins this fight unless it's by his submission. And like I said, the black belt, he's not going to be a fish out of water on the ground. He's not going to know what the hell he's doing, right? He will be capable on the ground to avoid these submissions, and he's going to know. I think Daukaus just pieces him up on the feet. And does he knock him out? I think so. I think he could get the knockout. Just a speed advantage. He's a lot more athletic. And I think he can hold his own on the ground. So we're going to go with the Daukaus here. I don't love this price, of course, right? So even if you look at the finish, it's not good. 110, 120 minus. So, play around with that. Maybe you parlay players play it in a parlay, but yeah, it's not a play I want to lay minus 180 to win a unit or even less, right? So, yeah, play around with that, but I do think Daukaus gets it done. Could be the Bull Constrictor's last fight too in the UFC. If he gets knocked out in this fight, I don't see him wanting to come back because he'll have no chance at another title shot. Last fight here, guys, Hawes minus 125. Open up minus 110 versus Imova plus 105. 6-fight win streak for Imova versus a 5-fight win streak versus Hawes. Now, most of those wins came outside of the UFC. Imova made his debut in October and got a decision win versus Jordan Williams. Hawes, who has been talked about for a while now, seems to be putting it all together after a tough loss in Season 1 of the Dana White Contender Series. He's a journeyman, though, guys, if you look at it, to say the least, right? The last 2 years he's fought Bellator, Brave, WFC, and again on Dana White Contender Series. He really wants to be in the UFC, and, he got his first win in his debut. All Hawes wins have been by KO, and mostly in the first round. Imova has been winning more of his fights as a well-rounded way. Subs, KOs, and decisions. This doesn't have that KO power like Hawes, right? So if Imova, I think, wins this fight, it's going to be by decision or like a late sub. Hawes will have to knock Imova out. I think personally, we've seen a little bit of cardio issue from Hawes, and he usually gets the first round knockout. So I haven't seen Hawes go the distance too much. It is a tough fight to call. I am leaning Hawes though as of right now. I want to see the weigh-ins and all the interviews to confirm that. But yeah, I haven't bet this fight as of yet, but definitely leaning Hawes' way. All right, guys, that will do it. That will do it for the UFC Vegas 19 card. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully you guys enjoy the card. We got a lot of good fights, a lot of good cards coming up this month. And, you know, for the next 2-3 months at least. So enjoy the card. And like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Take care.